Arcane fans should be trembling in their boots right now. Hello, I'm Elle, and welcome to my channel, The Daily Quest, where I post a bunch of vlog content, gaming content, and writing content because those are my interests, and I'm here to romanticize my life. Anyways, welcome to my channel, and today I wanted to talk about the US labeling Tencent as a Chinese military company, and why that should matter to you, the average consumer or the average gamer. Recently, TikTok was banned in the US for less than 24 hours, but it was banned temporarily because the US labeled it as a security risk, specifically from the Chinese government. Now, that has a lot of ramifications on other types of media and censorship in the United States, particularly from countries in the East. And Tencent happened to be one of the US's biggest targets. For anyone who doesn't know, Tencent is the world's largest gaming company in terms of equity. And it's essentially a Chinese tech conglomerate, so it's pretty huge. And it essentially has equity in smaller companies like Epic Games, like Supercell Games, like Riot Games. So say goodbye to Fortnite, say goodbye to League. I mean, we could do without League, to be honest, but say goodbye to Arcane and any other media production in the United States.
You really think I needed all the guards at the Hex Gates? Sorry to say, you've grown a bit predictable.
Anyway, okay, I might be overreacting just a little bit, but we need to really break down what it means for Tencent to be labeled in the US as a Chinese military risk. As of January 7th, 2025, the US Department of Defense released a list of companies that it labeled as Chinese military companies. And in doing so, it essentially provided room for sanctions and new rules for these companies to abide by that limit consumer access to their content and media. To be specific, a Chinese military company in the United States is essentially a company that is owned by or controlled by or essentially acts as an agent of the People's Liberation Army or any other component of the Central Military Commission of the Chinese Communist Party. So it may also be engaged in providing commercial services, manufacturing, producing, exports, all these types of things. Upon notice of this update to the Department of Defense's list, Tencent released a statement denying that they were a Chinese military company and assumed that it may have been a mistake on the part of the US government. Now, considering that these sanctions or potential controls of their exports would only relate to the Department of Defense, it's unlikely that Tencent's business structure would be impacted in the United States. However, we recently just had the TikTok ban, which didn't necessarily have exports or a market value in the same way that Tencent does, but was significantly hindered for less than 24 hours. But it was essentially shut down, and businesses, advertisements, creators whose careers were built off of this app were essentially closed, right? That's a significant portion of the United States economy that was shut down for essentially a few hours at a time, to the point where people thought it was going to be gone permanently.
TikTok is getting banned officially.
Do you guys not realize the impact that this will have on the economy?
And to the US government, I'm never forgiving you for this.
So if we can learn anything from our TikTok experience, we can assume that there is a significant risk to Tencent being operable in the United States. And Tencent seems to recognize this as well, because they stated that they are willing to pursue legal action against the US and essentially sue for the right to continue selling and producing their products. Even now, PC Gamer reported that shortly after the announcement was made about Tencent, their share price dropped about 7%. So the company's already feeling the ramifications of this classification by the US Department of Defense. Furthermore, Tencent is still under fire because California plaintiffs are suing over WeChat. They're claiming that the app is improperly surveying them and taking their data and private information. All this talk of surveillance, censorship, sharing private data with the Chinese government, these are all themes that are playing into this case as well. And not to get too political here, but the case does state that the plaintiffs anticipate their argument will be stronger once Trump's ban is in place. Doesn't that sound a little familiar with what we just experienced with TikTok? And don't you find it ironic that upon the app of TikTok returning to people's phones and regular use, it had a statement saying that Trump was in support of the app. So we have some conflicting ideas and policies here, and this general fear of China and the Communist Party.
And as of today, TikTok is back. And as of today, TikTok, and as of today, TikTok is back. TikTok is back. Can you believe what I'll do to win an election?
And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
Which, people stated when they moved over to RedNote, a secondary app that was meant to substitute TikTok's absence, that people kind of were faced with a different reality than what was advertised about China in the United States and what the quality of life was like over there, facilitating a very unique cultural exchange. Basically, Tencent is the Amazon of gaming, and it's facing a lot of heat right now. And I don't want to lose some of my favorite games like PUBG, Valorant. Like, come on, can we please just keep things sacred, keep our video games out of politics?
Please! No!
Many of the United States' claims haven't necessarily been backed with evidence just yet. There's just been a lot of suspicion and conjecture, and it's really unfortunate because the games that Tencent has created, produced, funded, and supported have quite literally shaped the gaming and entertainment industry. I mentioned Arcane at the start of this video, but that originally started from a video game called League of Legends, which I don't recommend playing. But essentially, the media that has started because of this one video game shaped the entertainment industry as a whole, right? With Fortitia's amazing animation style or the storytelling that was put forth, raised the bar for what animation and television could provide to the average consumer. I think it's fair to say that without sufficient evidence, it's hard to kind of argue that this type of political shadow ban is really advocating for data privacy. And I feel like it's putting the gaming community as well as some important, at this point, historical media at risk. And I think we as a community need to come together and kind of take a little bit of action here. So what can you do? Essentially, it would be great if you could continue to advocate for data privacy and protection laws that apply to all companies, not just companies that our government doesn't necessarily like, because we want all people to be safe and for our data to be used in a non-exploitative manner. Secondly, it's important to stay informed, especially with our shifting presidency and new policies that are going to be put in place that may start regulating our media even more. And thirdly, keep gaming. Like, if anything, this shows how powerful the gaming industry has become in a global marketplace. So you as a consumer do have a significant impact on what you choose to support and enjoy. At the end of the day, this lawsuit and the Department of Defense's list is about more than just Tencent. It's about our US government regulating entertainment and technology in a globalized world. Let's just hope that we don't lose the games that are near and dear to our hearts in the process. So thank you for listening to my rant, and if you enjoyed it, why not give this video a like and subscribe for more content like this. But yeah, I really needed to get this off my chest, you guys, so I appreciate you listening. But yeah, stay tuned for the next video where we find new ways to explore, create, and level up.